Conecte o mundo.
Carsten Otto, Lightning Network Node Operator, Rebalance-LND, Germany.
Philanthropy etymologically means love of humanity in the sense of proving for, feeding, improving or increasing people's quality of life or development potential. In modern practical terms, philanthropy is the development of private initiatives for the public good, aimed at improving the living conditions of others. Will Bitcoin be a tool for the 21st century? Most famous philanthropist Bill Gates?
No.
I prefer to play slightly more StarCraft 2 than Red Dead Redemption.
Yes.
Der Kölner Dom is the largest cathedral in Germany. The construction began in 1248, came to a halt in the 15th century, resumed and also finished in the 19th century. Do you know that Der Kölner Dom has the second largest swinging ringable bell in the world after the bell of the People's Salvation Cathedral in Bucharest?
No.
Pasta is a typical Italian dish, obviously. It's created from flour, olive oil, salt and eggs. Is it hard to find vegan pasta?
No.
Robert C. Martin, also known as Uncle Bob, is an American software engineer, instructor and author. He is also the co-founder of cleancoders.com, offering online video training for software developers. Is his book Clean Code a must-read for every developer?
Yes.
We found out that you like hardstyle music. Do you prefer the reversed bass like back in the days over the pitched kicks used nowadays?
Yes.
Today, many businesses and people are opting to move to the cloud for lower costs in IT hardware maintenance and security. It's also possible to run a Lightning node in the cloud. Do you think it's a myth that cloud migration lowers costs?
Yes.
I manage more than one Lightning node.
No.
Is Bitcoin the most fascinating subject that you experienced and studied as a computer scientist?
No.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Stef. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. The magic number, Stef. This is episode 21.
Yeah, we made it, baby.
Of Connect the World, exactly. It's nice. 21 Bitcoin, 21 episodes.
Yes.
On to the next, I think.
Yeah, but
that's not possible with Bitcoin,
no,
right?
I just wanted to say that because Bitcoin has only 21 limited cap of 21 million Bitcoins, and now we are going into a world that we don't know, Edward.
Exactly. This is one time only.
Yeah.
But exactly what you just said, I think the unknown, everything is the unknown, right? Because this is so, magical. Everything about Lightning and Bitcoin, there's some cornerstones for the future, I think.
Yes. Did you find some Easter eggs, Edward?
Yes, as a matter of fact, yeah.
Yes.
No. We've hidden some Easter eggs, but we had a problem with a bird that was eating the eggs.
No,
really,
the chocolate eggs.
No, really, and they were in plastic, and they just got them out, and I don't know. The chocolate is gone, but the wrappers are still there.
Oh.
So
but is it toxic because it is for dogs, right?
Yeah, I think it's not that good. So and we have an Easter bunny from made of chocolate, and we had it at the front yard, and it was half how do you say that, melted in the sun. But it doesn't matter. It tastes good. So
great, man.
And your voice, you had a busy after party of Miami. Miami vibes.
It was last Friday. I attended a festival for the first time, and I think it was the first time since we had Corona. So I partied like it was my first time ever, and my voice is still gone. You know I like to talk, right? Even
exactly.
on parties, I like to talk that much and yelling and I was to Hernan Cataneo actually. It's an Argentinian techno DJ, and he's one of the best out there. I think he's maybe
Nice.
he's maybe the best technically the best DJ I know. We have some listeners and viewers from Argentina, so let me know if you know Hernan Cataneo. I actually saw a lot of Argentinians. It was in Amsterdam.
There.
It was in the Western Union. Yeah, there were a lot of Argentinians. I was amazed about it, but I talked to them, and it was very nice. So, but I think, it was my first, and maybe I don't think I will visit a festival very soon because I'm getting old, man. Even my voice can't handle it anymore. So.
Well, you can orange pill the people there.
Yeah, of course.
But it's nice, the vibes of everybody there, and nice.
Yep.
Yeah, great. And I saw, well, that's worth mentioning. I saw a post of El Profesor. You know him from the Latinotes, well, Spanish, of course, the Spanish Lightning community. And he said, and I think it's funny because we have such an amount of liquidity that you try to philosophize things. He said, well, what would happen if hypothetically all nodes participating in Rings of Fire, Satoshi Radio, more than 30 Bitcoin of capacity, set their fees to their Rings of Fire peers at 0 fees? Would it act like some sort of supernode?
Yeah, but you have then a lot of hubs, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, we can with the capacity, but we have to do it with, I think, a smaller amount of members, and then it's getting really hard. Because I don't own that much Bitcoin, you know.
No, but with all these countries, it's nice to think of things like that. Because we have now over 31 or something, 35?
I will tell you in a bit, Edward.
Okay. We're one big mesh to tell. No, I will wait for the rings forecast, and then you're going to tell it.
Yes.
Okay.
So, this week we have Carsten Otto talking about big nodes and people who know how to run a node, Edward. Well, Carsten Otto, he is a node specialist from Germany. And his routing node is at the top of the Bohr score list. So I think, he has some nice tips for people who are just getting started with their node. And he has a nice vision on the Lightning Network. So, but that is in the second part, of course. And first, we have to talk a little bit about the statistics of the Lightning Network. I hope my voice will will keep up with me, and about our Rings of Fire community. And then the second part will be with Carsten, Edward.
All right.
So let's do this.
Have fun.
Have fun, mate.
Conectar el mundo.
Yeah, so last week we had a little over 28 Bitcoin pushed into the Lightning Network. And this week we added almost half a Bitcoin, Edward. So now we are almost at 29.5 Bitcoin with around, we passed 1,000 members. So we are now with 1,004 members participating in over 126 rings. So amazing, man.
A lot. And we're now at block height 732,163. And if we look at the Lightning Network as a whole, there are 20,150 nodes, and with a network capacity of 3,634, I see here. Less Bitcoin than last week, but that doesn't matter. And the value of my 1 million Satoshis, what can I buy with it?
you can get some dollars, euros, and Chinese yuan. Actually, you can get $402, 373 euros, and 2,561 Chinese yuan.
But I don't want them.
No, keep your sets.
Conecta el mundo. And the news of today, this week. Bitcoin Beat special. I don't know if you saw it. It's a 60-minute special produced by Michael Kartzis and Katie Kerpstad. And the title is How a Town in El Salvador Became a Testing Ground for Bitcoin. And Mike Peterson started the whole El Zonte project, and a lot of interesting interviews are in those 60 minutes. So watch it if you're interested. And then I saw something, I like it because it made me, if you want to discover more things and learn about the seeds, of Bitcoin wallets, then it's interesting to test it because it's an experimental website where you can download the HTML site. You can download it locally, and then you can run it and generate seeds verifying entropy inputs. And the goal, as I said, is to experiment and learn how wallets are generating using different sources of entropy. And I've put the link in the show notes. And then last week we talked about, we mentioned Taro already in the news of Lightning Labs. But I think it's also interesting for our listeners to read the original post to the Bitcoin Dev and Lightning Dev mailing list. And for those who missed it, Taro is a new protocol for transferring non-Bitcoin tokens in Bitcoin transactions and Lightning payments. And there was some discussion about this proposal. So if you're interested in checking all the proposed BIPs yourself, then check the show notes and read it and see for yourself. And then our friend and guest episode 17, Savvy, from lnrouter.app posted a tweet about some new features. I think it's interesting. For those who don't know what lnrouter.app is, it's a must-use tool. It helps node operators to make more informed decisions. So it helps you. And it's very interesting when running a routing node, for example, or if you want to grow and professionalize your node. They made all liquidity scan reports of subscribers public, and this makes it easier to signal how good your node is. And you can share it with everyone. So it's a spiffy message that you can share. They also added social media previews, and you can now share. They have added the share button in your user profile page, and you can make a shareable link, and it looks nice. So yeah, great.
And of course, if people don't know lnrouter.app yet, they can also check our latest, I think it was 3 episodes back, right?
Exactly. Episode 17.
Episode 17,
Yeah, and he's the real founder of lnrouter.app, so it's interesting to listen to it. And Start 9, for the updates this week, Start 9, I saw they've added mempool to the marketplace. There's a little disclaimer about lacking the ability to look up activity for specific addresses. But they expect this to be solved in the near future when electors will be packaged with Embassy OS. And then Core Lightning. I still, when I see the name, C Lightning and now Core Lightning, I need to be accustomed to it. Rusty Russell released the release candidate. This will be the next major version. So if you want to read it, check it. And they had there was a pull request that added support for attaching option payment metadata, invoice data to payment. So the result is support for stateless invoices at the payer side. And then LND, they also released a release candidate. Put in the show notes all the things that you can read about it. And then Lightning Development Kit. The latest release adds support for channel identifier alias, and this can be positive for privacy in some cases, and also some bug fixes, of course. And the last one was BTC Pay Server, and they had a latest release with a fix for the plugin installer.
Cool.
That was that.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
Connect the world.
So now let's have a look at the rings forecast. We have 2 spots left at the 3 million Satoshis 15th ring, and 2 spots left, and it's a very interesting one, at the 20 million Satoshis first ring. So
it's a big one.
That's a big one. We don't see that the rings with that high liquidity very often. So if you are interested in one of these, I think you need to join our Telegram group ASAP, if you haven't already, of course.
Yeah.
And then now some ring anecdotes, and I hope my voice will last, because we had a pretty busy week. We balanced 5 rings.
Yeah.
So I will do my utmost, Edward. We balanced 1 million Satoshis 34th ring with node operators from Germany, Holland, and Spain. And once again, Crypto Cow showed his expertise as ringleader in the 34th ring. Although some people decided it was a good idea to reboot while igniting the transaction was in progress, the group still managed to balance the ring with 0 fees. So yeah, guys, please, if we are in the middle of the balancing act, don't reboot your node, because that brings a hell to our gossip issues. So, but it's all went well after all. So I think we got lucky. Then we have the 500k 31st ring. Michel Anton was the initial ringleader, but due to some software issues, he was not able to run the balancing script, unfortunately. Luckily, we had Maarten SD who volunteered to try it, and after some nice planning and coordination, he managed to do so. So thanks for the effort both. And in this ring, we had also node operators from Belgium, Holland, and Germany. I think almost in every ring there is someone from Holland involved, Edward. And that makes us also very proud, right?
Of course.
And then we have the 1 million Satoshis 35th ring. We have node operators from Spain, Germany, Poland, Holland, and Belgium. And the second one of tonight. Nick took great care of this ring and showed us it wasn't his first time. Although not everyone was present, we decided to run the script anyways and send some invoices afterwards. Some trust will get involved, but we make sure it's handled correctly as always. And then we had a high liquidity ring with node operators from Iceland, Mexico, USA, and Germany. The 5 million Satoshis 16th ring. Just another day at the office for DJ Maestro because he balanced so many rings last week of the past 3 weeks. We decided to keep some of the fees a bit higher to prevent channels from draining. This is a kind of new strategy for higher liquidity rings, and it works pretty well. But this means there will also be some trust involved because the ringleader is paying some sets for the transaction.
Yeah, and all your banks are belong to us was also in that ring I saw.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And I think it's as I said, it's I think a good strategy because we experienced some draining from channels with these low fees, and I think if we keep them a bit higher, then we are always capable of balancing it. So, and then last but not least, Edward, we have the 2 million Satoshis 20th ring with node operators from Italy, Holland, USA, and Germany. With experienced ringleaders like Turbo Bus, it's almost getting boring to be a master of ceremony. Couldn't even blink my eyes, and the ring was balanced 3 minutes ahead of schedule with only 2 sets fee. Well done. So, yeah, what a way! What a way to end this forecast, right? Turbo Bus, you're amazing, man. Great.
Oh, and there was a funny thing. He explained about his name, right? So if you want to know more, just come in the group and search a post.
I think we have some children. Maybe we have some children watching to our show, Edward. So we will keep it within the Telegram group, right?
Exactly.
Okay, thanks, mate.
Well, that's in the can. Thanks, Stef. And let's go to the lightning notes. Conecta el mundo. Make sure to secure your home network. So change default passwords and use 2-factor authentication where possible. And keep your software up to date. It's also very important. Please keep in mind that the whole Lightning network is very experimental. Software like MyNode, Umbrel, Raspberry Blitz, for example, and many others, and LND also, are still in beta phase. Don't blindly run terminal commands on your node if you don't understand them yourself, and especially when prefixed with sudo. And the last one is also very important. Don't use Satoshis that you're not willing to lose. So if you're not aware of all security considerations, then read into it. Educate yourself, read articles, ask for help in Telegram groups with high reputation like ours, and listen to podcasts and learn by doing. Otherwise, don't participate.
Also, you can stay informed by following us on Twitter. You can find us at Satoshi Radio ROF and follow our Lightning leader, Jonī Kyasshu. Join our Telegram groups, Satoshi Radio, Ring of Fire, and Connect the World. And check our website, satoshi.radio. It would be nice for you to be part of our Amboss community. You can find us there on Satoshi Radio. And like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Use Podcasting 2.0 to listen to Connect the World. And you can check SATA trading for the current value. You can find all this information, of course, also in the show notes as well.
All right, let's get on to the show.
Connect the world.
Welcome, Carsten. We're excited to have you in our podcast. How are you, man?
Hi, I'm excited too. Happy to be here.
Great.
Cool. Welcome, Carsten. And yeah, the first things that comes up in my mind, because Edward asked you, is Bitcoin the most fascinating subject that you experienced and studied as a computer scientist? And you said no, but what is it then?
Yeah, I guess this was me being stupid because of the time pressure. I thought about my time at the university when I studied actively, like reading books and attending lectures. And this was before I heard about Bitcoin. So obviously it was not the most exciting thing. But of all the things that I've heard of since then, or including this, I would say yes, Bitcoin by far tops all of that.
Ah, what a relief.
Yeah, sorry, we have to start over.
No, man. I was just very curious because I
thinking that there are a lot of things to be fascinated about, of course. But we always hope that it's Bitcoin, of course. But well.
Yeah. Hey, and we already mentioned that you like to listen to hardstyle music.
Yes.
Have you ever visited Syndicate in the Westfalenhalle in Dortmund?
No, sadly not. But I've been in the Heineken Music Hall. And, I was trying to sleep. I don't know, something Time Machine.
Yeah,
Time Machine. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I played at Syndicate. It was like, I think it was 8 years ago or something.
Another life.
And it was my other life, my other alter ego, indeed. But and I also played in the Heineken Music Hall, but not at Time Machine. So, but I'm very nice to hear that you also prefer the reverse bass over the pitch kicks, because I always I don't know, I don't prefer them also. I think the reverse bass was way better.
I also like classical music, so I guess it's a tiny preference.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know where I've read it or something, but your node has 22,000 or more, I think, transactions, right? This month.
Yes, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many transactions do you route in a day?
22,000 divided by 31, roughly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. But what? Yeah. Okay. So what is the? What?
That's a lot. Yeah.
What number?
You're talking about the amount, right?
Yeah. The amount.
Yeah. It's between 1 and 2 Bitcoin, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
In a day.
Crazy.
So, but I'm gonna think. Well, it's all rebalance, and I really hope that there are really actual transactions, of course, of buying things. And well, we don't know that. But
for me, rebalances of other people's are real transactions for my node, so that's fine too. Yeah.
No, that's right. But I mean, for more adoption, I would like to think that there's I don't know 20-30% are actual transactions to buy something. But
so I see lots of transactions to the exchanges and to wallets.
Of course,
so I guess it's not just rebalances.
Yeah, and I also thought, well, you studied computer as a computer scientist, and do you have also more insights, do you think, about Bitcoin because of your knowledge of computer science, applying discrete mathematics, or that it's helped you along the way?
I would say the biggest advantage is that I can read articles or technical papers about Bitcoin and understand the important parts and identify the knowledge that I need to freshen up on. And for example, with Picard payments, there's a lot of debate. And when I talk with René, we can concentrate on the math behind it and ignore all the other crap. So that helps.
That helps. Yeah, exactly.
Cool, man. And you are the top of the Emboss.space ranking list, right? Of the nodes over there.
Exactly. Yeah. So the terminal web ranking has basically a number that is assigned to every node, and at some point you can't get a higher number.
10,000 or
I think it's 100 million, corresponding to the number of satoshis in Bitcoin or something.
Cool. Yeah. So, but there are more nodes that have that.
I think
score, right?
the top 10 or something like that, maybe even more. Yeah. So if you have the highest number, you can still look at centralization and how many Bitcoins you have and this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. But you know what you are doing. That's what I wanted to say.
At least it's good enough. I would say you can do better, but I don't know how. So
No. Cool, man. And that's one of the main reasons, obviously, when we why we invited you into our show, because I think a lot of our listeners and viewers can learn a lot from you. We have all kinds of questions for you about your vision on the Lightning Network, and of course how to run your Lightning node. But it has to be in the 21 minutes. So Edward and Carsten, if you guys are ready, we would like to enter that part. Are you
That's
guys
okay.
ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah.
just
Cool.
a
Let's
second.
do it. All right.
Connetti il mondo.
Well, as Stef said, you're a big example for community members running a Lightning node, and there are a lot of people with different strategies. But before they came there, what was your first experience with the Lightning Network, and do you still know what you did at that moment?
Yeah, so the first experience was just reading the white paper. So printing out a bunch of pages, going out in the sun on my balcony, having a beer or something. And I remember that I read it. I started to understand it after, maybe the 5th attempt or something. And I realized this is huge. This works. This is helping with scaling Bitcoin. And it's fascinating because, all the HTLC stuff and how to open channels and how to make all transactions disappear. So all channel states, this was great. And I started installing LND for the first time, opening the first channel on my private computer back in the days. And this is how it started.
And there wasn't something that you thought, well, maybe this is going to be a problem, or?
It's new technology, so it's obvious that there's some kind of problem that you don't know about and some issues that you need to fix, like, you have to program all of the stuff. You have lots of compatibility issues between the node software implementations. But other than that, I was like, this is the way forward. This is worth exploring. And I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Cool. And if you look back at the last year, what is the most stunning thing, the maybe application or movement you have seen on the Lightning Network?
I would say it's the community, most notably the PlebNet, so that a bunch of folks from different backgrounds, so not just the nerds or the computer science students, whatever. So everyone is able to join the community. They talk, they exchange tutorials, they help each other out, they open rings of fire. And this is something I didn't have. I just started from scratch and didn't know anything. And now you can just read it up or go to a Telegram chat, attend meetings in person. And this is great. This is helping a lot of people to be part of it.
Yeah.
So there's a much more advantage at this moment because there's a lot to build upon. And we have LND, Lightning Lab, C Lightning, Blockstream, and Eclair. There are a lot of distributions like that. Those implementations, do you prefer one more than the other, or do you follow it all?
Well, I only have experience with LND, which is not perfect, but it's great. I like that it works. I know my way around the log messages and all the commands that you get to use to run your node. So this is fine, but I'm also excited to see, for example, how C Lightning, or nowadays Core Lightning, I think it's a new name. How they deal with performance and the whole database compaction issue. So I believe that having multiple implementations helps the whole network. They can copy features. It's not a competition. It's just different approaches, different companies sponsoring the development, and then the best approach wins, which is great.
Yeah. And do you think the Lightning network will be mature enough for mass adoption within 4 years or so? Or?
Depends on what mass adoption is. So if you talk about millions to billions of people using it to buy coffee and lots of coffee and doing remittance payments, something like that, I would say no, because there's so much to do, so many attacks maybe, or so many engineering challenges that you need to fix first. And this takes time. So for example, if you think about L2, which is some improvement suggested by Christian Decker, this has been suggested a while ago and it's not implemented. It's not easy to implement because you need to change Bitcoin for that, but it takes time to improve something as massive as Lightning. networks.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort. And like Bolt 12, for instance, also because you need to change a lot of things around having a node, also the wallets and all of those specifications. So it's difficult. Well, 4 years is maybe too little, but do you think it's going to be assigned as fiat money, or can it take some kind of place and be more than only a second option or something?
I would say there will be more adoption so that you can use it to send money to friends, tips on Twitter, for example, is one of the key features. And this will just pop up in tiny stores, and then you have larger chains who add it to their systems. So it will not be commonplace like Visa, for example, or cash, but it would not be surprising to go, I don't know, to Amsterdam and just pay with Lightning on your phone in some tiny store. It's like, wow, this is cool, but it's not that special.
No.
Yeah. I hope so.
And I hope so too. I'm living near Amsterdam, so that would be very nice.
Maybe not just Amsterdam, but
No,
Berlin. What is also, of course, everywhere. What's the biggest problem you encountered when you start your first Lightning node?
For me, it was understanding what's going on. So I think every node runner nowadays has issues with force closes. So why did it happen? Is it my fault? Is it my peer's fault? Is it some Tor connection issue? And you need to understand the logs. You need to understand the timeouts. You need to understand how failures are propagated along a payment path, how payments are blocked, how your channel might be filled up with too many HDLCs. And all this is hidden in the code. It's hidden in the log messages. Sometimes the log message doesn't exist, so you have to patch LND and wait for the next release to get the log message. This was very, very annoying. Yeah.
A lot of manual labor also.
Yeah.
And is it now with all these software companies like Umbrel, or is it then now much easier for people to start? Or
I think it's easier to start. I haven't used Umbrel myself. I'm just a plain LND and terminal kind of guy. But it's easy to start. You have you press one button and that's it, and it works. But to get into the details and, for example, tweaking fees, rebalancing, or identifying issues, like why did this channel false close, this is still rather tricky. But you don't need to do it every day. And in fact, you don't really need to do it. It just works without looking into the details.
And there's also a big difference between just someone who is running a node for maybe some pay with his own node for coffee someday, and people who want to really run a routing node.
Yeah,
I think that's also a big difference.
Yeah, to make it profitable. Yeah, exactly. And security on the Lightning Network is one of the biggest topics at the moment. What are the biggest issues on security which need to be fixed, do you think?
I don't know a lot about security regarding safety of your funds, but there are some attacks that basically are blackmailing. So you could, in theory, just send a payment in circles around the network and just not releasing the payment, not failing it, not settling it, just letting it linger for days or hours at least. And if you do that in a clever way as an attacker, you can block channels, you can block nodes, you can outsmart your competition, you can tell them, I will stop, but you have to pay me, blackmail. So this is possible. It's not something I see in the wild, luckily, at least not on my node. But this needs to be fixed in order for the Lightning Network to become mainstream, I think.
And this is very interesting because now with Kraken adding the space, I think it will be more interesting also for people who want to blackmail.
Yeah.
So I think the coming period is very important to see what happened and how to fix it. And we also talked about it with Gijs van Dam a couple of episodes ago, and he's also very interested in this this issue.
Yeah, and I was thinking about what we said before about beginners and not tech savvy people. That it's important, of course, that they're more educating themselves about what's going on within their node. so they can better understand when it's a blackmail or phishing or something that is happening. Yeah.
Hey, and there's a lot of discussion. We already talked about it just now about the ranking of Lightning nodes. Do you think this is important, and why is that?
I think it's nice to have some kind of list where you can climb to the top, so you have some motivation. It's gamification, basically. I don't really care. Well, it's nice to have like a top 5 node or top 6 at the moment, but more than the actual numbers, I think the improvement ideas that Terminal Web, for example, is giving you as a node operator, these are very helpful. Like you need more channels, or your channels, they might exist, but they are not large enough, so they are useless in a sense. So this kind of feedback is important to help improve your own node and by extension, the whole network.
Yeah, yeah. And well, we had a chat with Severin Bueller from lnrouter.app about how important speed and deliverability is for adoption in the Lightning Network. And well, he said nobody wants to wait 8 seconds for payment to be processed. Yeah. And Rusty said 6 seconds and longer until you get bored. So that's very very important. Do you agree with this? That speed is very important. And what do you think can help to make the Lightning Network be much faster in the near future?
Okay, so I think it's important for payments to be fast enough. But for example, in Germany, we tend to lag behind technology. So if you go to a German supermarket and pay with whatever you usually do to pay, you have to enter your PIN number, you have to wait for the device to boot up and for the recipe or the receipt to print, and this takes much longer than 6 or 8 seconds. So
yeah.
If Lightning Network is just tapping your phone on some device and wait 5 seconds, that's great. But improving it would be helpful. And I think instead of just looking at fees and maybe channel sizes in the near future, you should also look at, well, how fast is the node, reputation stuff.
Yeah.
So for small payments, the approach of taking into account how far away the node is and how quick it is in responding, I think it's very helpful. And for larger payments, you need to do a bit more than that. But I guess 5 seconds, you don't care about 5 seconds if you want to pay like 2,000.
Of course. And do you think also the physical distance of the node to the node where you're paying for the acceptance, the merchant that is accepting Lightning, it will? I
don't think it makes a big difference if it's in Germany or in the Netherlands or in France. But if you go to Australia and back and forth, because it's not just a single message that needs to travel around the globe, but it needs to be basically it's a long process of settling a single transaction. And if you also think about failures, these add up. So you might want to prefer more local nodes and maybe not tour nodes. Yeah.
Well, not so long ago, we also spoke to Hakuna as a guest in episode 16. He's an IT specialist also from Germany and runs a very successful routing node. And he wrote a script, Bash Rebalancer, and as an extra feature to your own script, Rebalance-LND. And he said, I quote, Carsten's original script has the most clever algorithm to take some of the decisions away from you, but it requires you to be comfortable with command line and doesn't allow batch running. And I want to polish my bash scripting skills and thought about a layer which allows for skill and simplicity. So the wizard allows beginners to get into rebalancing, but also allows professionals to move a few millions around semi-automatically. And do you know this script, and do you have plans for some future updates on your Rebalance-LND script?
Yeah, so I don't know the script in detail. I just had a short look when I first heard about it.
Yeah.
It works and people use it, so this is the most important part. It would be nice to have some kind of feature in Rebalance-LND itself, but I already have my script that automates things, which I can't just provide as part of the Rebalance-LND. But in the near future, maybe far future, I would like to add some features to LND Manage J, which is sort of my big Java server application that hopefully does a lot of stuff, including rebalancing in the future.
Well, and now we're talking about LND Manage J. What useful information can you collect while running this?
At the moment, it's rather limited, but one of the things that most other tools don't give you is, for example, how much did you as a node operator pay for false close transactions? Because it's not just the transaction itself, it's also the sweep transactions that you need to issue to get access to your funds, and these add up. So, for example, if you have a false close with many HTLCs in it, each of those might be swept individually, and each of those transactions might cost you, I don't know, a few thousand Satoshis. Yeah. So details like that, or another nice feature is, did a channel maybe not route a lot, but help others to be rebalanced? So if you rebalance into a channel, you need to pay out of some other channel. And you can see how, for example, bolts, which is great for this purpose, is helping feeding other channels. So you don't earn a lot with bolts, but it helps you earning more with other channels that you rebalance using bolts, as an example.
Cool.
And Carsten, some of our previous guests said that it's most likely that in the future smaller nodes will disappear and bigger routing nodes with high liquidity channels will remain. What's your vision on it? Or will it only be the big custodial Lightning nodes that are binded with wallets or something?
I think the general trend is true. I would also think that we have more small nodes at the moment than we will have in the future, at least relatively to the total number of nodes. But there will always be, let's say, nerds, hobbyists, or people who really crave about decentralization. They need to have their own node. They do not want to connect to the big ones. So we will have a mixture, but it's easier to, have a team to earn money with the node, to have something big than just having your Raspberry Pi that might break down any minute, and you don't have the time to look after it, and you don't have the resources to balance all the channels. Yeah.
And for those who want to run a routing node, the most valuable asset is to know where the traffic is. How do you find this information, or is that classified?
Well, I don't have answers that don't help if you're a beginner. It's trial and error. It's opening channels, waiting a few months, and closing the bad ones. You can also have a look at the fee structure. So, for example, my own node, if I charge a lot, either the channel is new and I don't have anything on my site. That usually means my site is disabled. But for those that are enabled from my side, where I charge a lot, that usually means I also send a lot. And of course, this also means you have lots of competition. So Bitfinex, for example, has lots of channels, and opening another one, you have lots of competition, but in the end, it might be worth it.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of our community members also use the script charge-LND. You know it, of course. And this script, node operators can automate setting their fees. Can you explain how Rebalance-LND takes into account the future profit you can make on a channel instead of only using proportional rebalancing with charge-LND?
Okay, so let's ignore charge-LND for the first part of the answer. With Rebalance-LND, don't confuse the two.
Exactly.
I only look, as the script, I only look at the current fee settings. So whatever you configured on your node, this is the ultimate truth. And if you configure something that is wrong, the script doesn't know that it's wrong. It just assumes that it's valid. And basically the assumption is if you configure 1000 ppm on the channel to Bitfinex, then you will earn 1000 Satoshi per million that you route to Bitfinex. And it might be a good idea to empty a channel where you don't charge 1000. You pay a tiny transaction fee so that you have more that you can send to Bitfinex in the future. And here the assumption is you just compare the fees that you would earn, the fees that you could earn, and those that you can't earn anymore, and this kind of stuff. But it only pans out if your fee settings actually correspond to the truth. So if you configure 1,000,000 ppm, that's obviously good. But if you don't route at that setting, it doesn't help at all. So the script would fill the channel and nothing happens and you wasted money. So everything is based on the assumption that you will route at the given fee rate, maybe a bit less. You always have some uncertainty in there. Now, with charge LND, you change the proportional, with the proportional fee settings of charge LND, you change the fee rate all the time. So you might decrease the fee rate just because the channel is full. Maybe it's full because of Rebalance-LND. And then you basically screw up the whole computation. And my idea behind it is, if you have a fee rate that will work in the future, why would you want to decrease the fee rate just because you have a lot? Mm-hmm. Just wait. And if it's too much because, well, it's too expensive and nobody routes, then you can lower it, but not because you have too much in the channel.
Exactly. That's a wrong start to think about. So waiting a lot more and then having more information that you can get out of what's happening.
Yeah, patience is key, and especially if you're a smaller node operator. So if your node is smaller, then it might take months or weeks for a channel to do anything. So it's very hard to come up with reasonable fees.
Yeah. And on your site, you describe channel and fee policy from your node and some other cool things. Are 3 million Satoshis channels the minimal size if you want to be a routing node?
I would say there are two different kinds of routing nodes, and mine is more or less in the middle of those two definitions. The first is you're something like a core router. So you connect the big players, you provide liquidity. I think this is something Alex Bosworth is doing with the UALS nodes. Mm-hmm. So for these types of nodes, you need lots of liquidity and you need to be able to forward larger amounts. So I would say 10 million is the minimum. The other option is to have nodes that connect lots of smaller peers. So like you're the train station that connects your village to the big city. And there 1 million, 2 million, 3 million is good. And for me, I think it's not worth it to deal with 2 million anymore, which is why I increased the minimum to 3 million.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I think in our Rings of Fire community, the most seen liquidity is 1 million at what, right?
I think so. Yeah, that's right.
These are the train station nodes, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, and I hear the TikTok. Can I do one more, Edward?
Yeah, and I see also one more, but
okay,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Edward.
Okay, well, René Picard and Stefan Richter observed that finding the cheapest multi-part payment is an NP hard problem. So in theoretical science, meaning this expresses a hard problem complexity to solve. Considering the current fee structure and propose dropping the base fee to make in a linear min cost flow problem. Will this base fee disappear in the future, maybe with Bolt 14?
I would say Bolt 14 is not related to base fee at all.
Okay.
As far as I understand, Bolt 14, it's exchanging information about your peers, which will help with routing, but these two issues are not related. And the base fee will always be part of the protocol. People can enable a base fee, but those nodes who want to route a lot will set the base fee to 0 in order to have more forwardings and routings. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That is one. Yeah, I think also answer of my question, because I wanted to ask you if because a lot of our community members always put the 0 base fee, and if there are you may experience more routing when you have 0 base fee, and so I guess it is right.
Hopefully in the future. Not now.
Yeah.
Cool. We're
exactly,
working on
and
it.
it's to say, well, 0 base fee. Yeah, well. We had a lot of more questions, but we don't have time to ask more. So I would hope to see you back at another show. That would be
great,
really nice. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Verbind de wereld.
Last week we had Jesse de Wit, a professional Lightning Network enthusiast, and we asked Jesse to come up with a question for you, Carsten. So Edward will play the audio file, and then you may answer it.
The Bitcoin base layer is very robust because of its decentralized nature. Lightning is young and is being actively developed. What do you think could break Lightning? Or what do you think could be a threat to Lightning?
Okay, so I hinted at that earlier in the questions. Channel jamming is one of the issues that needs to be fixed. So just putting too many HTLCs into a channel or freezing the balance that you have in your channel and not releasing it would disable at least the channel, maybe a huge part of the network. And if you do that to big nodes, those nodes will suffer. So there's an article on bitmax.com. I will provide the link, which explains the issue. But sadly, there are several attempts at fixing the issues, but no actual solutions which are implemented.
Cool. So we will put the link to the BitMax article in the show notes then. Thank you.
I've put it here. Yeah, thanks. Well, and next time we have a new guest, Elle Mouton. She's an engineer from South Africa at Lightning Labs. We want her also to ask a question from you. Which question can we ask her?
Yeah, so at the moment we have fees all over the place, the default fees. We have 0 fee routing, which is crazy. We have Alex Bosworth charging, I think, 2,500 ppm all over the place.
I saw it.
And the question is, in the future, how do you think will the fees in the Lightning Network develop?
Interesting. Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Thanks.
Curious about the answer. Yeah.
Verbind de wereld.
Well, Stef, there's something interesting because we have a prize to give away this week again. And this time it's from you, Carsten. And I'm going to make it a lot more interesting. What are you giving away to our listeners?
Nice raffle.
So I'm giving away 5 million, which is not euro, it's Satoshi. No. I will keep them, but I will give away a 5 million Satoshi channel. So if you run a node, I will open a channel to your node, 5 million Satoshi. I will not charge any fees. So 0 fee routing through that channel only for a month at least. And after that, maybe I close it. Maybe I open another one. Maybe we have a chat. I don't know. But for a month, you have 5 million Satoshi from me in the channel.
Really great. I saw it and I thought, well, I can't compete, of course.
No, we can't compete. We do something wrong, Edward.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's nice. It's also the combination of, what you just said. We talk about it and you actually meet people with Lightning. And it's not just a peer, it's also a person that wants to learn and or wants to have also a nice routing node. And it's interesting without fees, right, Stef? Then you could really see what's
going on. So so if you want a top, let's say a top 10 or something.
Top 6.
Top 6 from Ambas.space channel open to you. What do you have to do to be able to win? Well, you have to like and retweet the announcement of this episode by Jonī Kyasshu and subscribe to our channel. And we will put the link to Jonī Kyasshu's Twitter account into the show notes. So go to
check
that,
them, guys and girls.
Go to the profile and just like and retweet the announcement, and maybe you will get a 5 million Satoshis channel from Carsten open to you with 0 fees, guys. So very nice.
Connect the world.
Thanks, Carsten, for being in the show, and hope we will see you next time.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And where do our listeners can find information about you or stay up to date or something, or follow you on Twitter or Telegram?
Yeah, I think my homepage, c-otto.de is the best starting point. I'm on Twitter.
Great.
Let me look it up. It's c_Otto83.
All right.
So you can guess how old I am. I'm on Telegram too. But
you look very young.
Sometimes I do.
It's because of the hair. I know. I don't know. We'll put it in the show notes. Great.
Okay.
Cool. And to everyone, thanks for listening, and thanks to all members participating in the Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire. And of course, thanks everyone helping us to connect the world. And if you like our content, please support us in our mission. Visit our website, a new website, connecttheworld.live. where you can donate and subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite platform, for example, Podcasting 2.0. And remember, we need you to complete our mission, connect the world. And keep those notes running, sets flowing, and rings burning. And see you all next week with El Mouton on the same Lightning channel. Sampai jumpa, Carsten.
Venezuela, lady.
Arrivederci.